YouTube, back with another video. This video I didn't know I was gonna make this early, but might as well. So this video is gonna be me adding a transmission cooler fan on the transmission Hayden. Well, it's a Hayden transmission fan on the transmission cooler by Hayden. A couple things. Obviously, the front bumper has to come off. Another thing is, on the previous video, I used if you see my previous transmission video, I used a Hayden part number 699. I changed it. This is Hayden part number 679. I'll put that in the description below, because the 699 was bigger, but the problem was that was made for colder climates, and it opened up the valve, so it lets your car go up to operating temp before it like kicks on. But for me, I just wanted to cool. I just wanted to keep cooling, because obviously it gets hot here in California. So what I did was I changed it to 679. I'll leave that in the description below. And I'm gonna add a fan, which is part number 3670, onto the front. Now, there's a couple ways I could do this. I'm gonna mount it with zip ties. I'm gonna try to mount it from these holes, because these holes are already occupied. So I'm gonna see if it's even possible to do that. And if I can mount it, we'll go with the rest of the video on basically how I'm gonna. Well, let's talk about it right now before anything. But first, obviously, bumper has to come off. A couple of things you're gonna need, because basically there's gonna be a mock-up of how exactly I'm gonna do it. Obviously, gonna need some wires. So I'm using 10 gauge wire, a couple of those, and one of the more important things I'm going to use is this switch right here, 30 amp switch, part number 86931. Basically that's how I was going to go through. Now, main couple things, the hard things about is mounting the actual fan and getting it steady mounted, and then obviously putting it where it should be. So first couple of things we're going to do is, where do I want to mount it? On the instruction manual, I'm putting the fan on. They want you to put the switch around here. I'm not going to do that. I want to control it inside. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use sticker right there, by the way, follow my Instagram. I'm gonna take this little plastic cluster off, and we're gonna run the line. I think I'm gonna put that switch maybe here or here. I'm gonna take this off to see the clearance I have to be able to work with. Now, how am I gonna get the wire inside? Well, thanks to Ford, they probably knew I was gonna put a transmission fan cooler. There already is a hole in the firewall. So on the driver's side valve cover, right back here, there's a grommet that you could literally take off, and it's a hole that leads to your footwell. Somewhere down I can't really show you right now, but it leads down here. Somewhere down here. And then we could run the line up, hoping to this instrument cluster thing. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna mount the fan. I'm gonna take this off, see where I can put it, position it, drill a hole to install that switch, and see if I could find like a line that goes from up here to all the way down there, and just so it could clear through the hole. So it's not hard, more it's time consuming, because you're gonna have to see where everything is. You have to make sure the wiring is proper and everything, because obviously you don't want shit to burn up. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this first, and then we'll go with the rest of the plan real quick. Alright, so I mounted it. This is not exactly how I wanted it mounted, as in I wanted to use both of these holes, but I ended up just using the bottom one with a zip tie, and I basically just put the zip tie onto the radiator core support, the top bar. I put like three zip ties together, basically put that together here, and I still used the little padding thing, and I basically mounted it from here, but I still use the bottom holes for the rest. Second thing, this little spring thing, because if this spring's not here, the fan's kind of pushed like forward, like it's kind of tilted this way. So what I did was, when you buy this kit anyways, it comes with a spring. This is not how it's intended to be used, but I mean, what's happening is this spring is pushing it forward. I'm using both sides, so I'm just kind of pushing it in there. It's a little ghetto rig, but I mean, it will work. The fan, obviously, one thing you got to make sure is that it spins freely. As you can see, it spins freely with no type of effect or anything. So yeah, that's how it's mounted at the moment. Like I said, not exactly how I wanted it, but whatever, it works. Second thing would be the wiring. So disconnected both battery terminals. This ground right here, I'm gonna go ahead and ground the same exact area this battery's grounded, and then we're gonna run this wire to the inside, because like I said, I wanted the switch to be inside. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take off or we're gonna choose where you want to put it. That's the main thing, you're gonna choose where I want to put it. So, like I said earlier, I wanted it to be probably in this area. I'm gonna have to take this panel off to see where I can put it, and if I could run a wire down there. And that's the second hardest part about this job, but yeah, we'll do that right now. Alright, so I grounded the ground wire to where near the battery, where that thing the battery's grounded to. And I have my switch right here, on and off switch. I'm gonna mount this. It's already kind of on the way. I'm gonna mount this. Oh, this is the part number, by the way. Sn95 You don't need this. You can ground this so you can have a light to tell you when it's off and on. But I don't think I'm gonna put that. So what I'm gonna do is, right here, I'm gonna make a hole right here, and I'm gonna push this from the inside and lock with the lock holder. So I'm gonna put a hole right here, and I'm gonna go from there. And I'm just gonna use this as a switch from the inside. But at the moment, that's what it looks like. I'm gonna run this across here, back here, all the way around through the hole in the firewall. Let me do this right now and we'll get started. Alright guys, here it is. Basically that's how it's gonna be. It took forever. I had to use a Dremel and slowly Dremel it open until it's completely open like this. Use a little lock holder, I think, to lock it in place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push it in there and make sure it's fine. Then I'm gonna go ahead and run the wires there. And yeah, but it looks pretty good for a switch. Pretty good placement, I think. I was gonna mock everything up. Alright, so go ahead and added this wire to the firewall right here. Went ahead and shrink tubed it. So I'm gonna put that to the side at the moment. It's gonna be right there. So power to the fan. Now, what we're gonna do is take care of this end of the car. So like I said, we have the wire right here. I'm running it through basically where the steering column area is. So I'm gonna do it right there. This up here. Alright, get this out the way. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna run it. I'm just gonna come out here, probably cut some off because it's a little too long, and then go ahead and put a connector like this. I forgot the name of this connector, but this bad boy there. Plug it into the top part, and then go ahead and do the bottom and run it that way towards the passive terminal, and that should be it. So let me do all of that, and I'll be right back.
Already done, didn't explain shit.
I've been told I explain it right when I'm done, so I'm gonna explain it right when I'm done. There you go. So I grounded it over here, ran the wire inside. There's two wires. The blue wire is the one that connects it to the to the positive side. It's crimped and it's connected to it. There's a 30 amp fuse that runs inside to the firewall. I put back the grommet. You can just see the wire, so there's that. So basically, this is how it's set up at the moment, and this is where you switch on. And there you go. It's working. Moment. Go ahead and switch it off, and basically it runs under here. Well, there's a hole in the wall. You'll see it when you go under. When you go under, you will see the hole on your firewall, and you just basically run it out there, and I just loop it around here. Again, on a 30 amp fuse to the positive, ground it right there to the battery, and that's about it. Pretty straightforward. Let me see. Where's the manual at? Let me show you guys the manual. Where's the manual at? Here's the manual. Here's the manual. So, how I ran it is, this is how they want you to run it. So they want you to ground it. Then I have the switch, which is in my dash. So from the top of the switch, it's just connected to the actual fan, and then the bottom switch is the one that connects to the what do you call this? To the what you call this? Let me push that in actually. My lights were on, I didn't know. Yeah, it's connected to this. That's connected to the 30 amp fuse. You just buy it, and I connected that with a bunch of heat shrink and butt connectors. And yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is start it up, make sure it doesn't catch the flames. So we'll do that right now. All right, YouTube, a little quick update. Been driving it for 2 days. Been working great. I put little like tubing around it to protect it, or just to kind of clean it up a bit. So now it looks pretty dang good. Push it down there. Push that down there. But yeah, looking pretty good. The switch sitting pretty proper. So it's right there. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty good placement. Everything kind of went back to place pretty well. So yeah, definitely recommend it if you're running an aftermarket fan in the front. It definitely does help. It keeps it steady. I don't think it drops it per se, but it keeps the temperature like real steady when you're getting a little too high. Temperatures are a little too high, but yeah, you know, zip tie magic works like a charm. I would say carry extra 30 amp fuses with you just in case. I don't see any problem that could happen, but I mean, just to be sure, carry a bunch of 30 amps with me and a fire extinguisher. So yeah, but it was working great. So yeah, give it a try.